A couple of weeks ago, we noticed that the Social Security Board publicized a notice of investment in the local newspaper. The notice read that the SSB board proposed to lend $1.5 million to Diverse Development Limited for, quote, purchase of fertilizers and other inputs, end of quote. After we got a hold of the company's EIA report, we noticed that the manager director for the company is Horst Schnohoff. When we did our research, we found out that Schnohoff was charged and convicted for 6 counts of a 29-count indictment for his role in activities of importation, possession, and distribution of large quantities of marijuana into the United States from Belize. In the 1980s, Schnohoff was ordered to serve a term of imprisonment of 15 years and to pay a $50,000 fine. He had appealed his sentencing, and we understand that he successfully did so, with each time being resentenced. Schnohoff was also been linked to John Zavany, who the U.S. listed in the Kingpin Act. But did the SSB know this? That's what we asked the chairman of the SSB, Doug Singh.
I don't think that we do that kind of a security background check to the extent of checking to see what somebody did in 1980s or 1970s or 1960s. But I believe that that individual owns perhaps one share as a minority shareholder in the company. The majority shareholder of the company is Ms. Myrtle Sharon. Ms. Myrtle Sharon is also the owner of the properties that's being provided. So whether he's a nominee shareholder for practical purposes is neither here nor there. Social Security has a department which is called the Investment Department that reviews the entire process. It looks at credit risk, it looks at the viability of a project, it looks at the value of the investment that is being made, it looks at employment that's being created, and it looks at the characters and individuals that are involved. To the extent perhaps of going back 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, perhaps not so. In fact, if it is not available in Belize's records, because at the end of the day, it's about criminal offenses committed in Belize. In fact, I think even the Prime Minister mentioned years ago that Mr. Zavany has not, to his knowledge, committed a crime and was convicted in Belize. If the U.S. wants to try him, let them try him. If they want to try Mr. Horst, whatever his name is, then let them try him. But I don't understand why that should be your concern and your concern. If these people are investors or shareholders of a company...
It should be the public's concern, because if these people have convictions in the United States of huge drug trafficking cases, why would it be the public?
Let me ask you a question. If you had conviction for an auto accident 25 years ago, should I hold it against you if you wanted to drive a car?
You can't answer my question by asking a question.
Of course I can, sir, because you have to use the same balanced yardstick. He wasn't convicted in Belize, one. If he was convicted in the U.S., that's one. He wasn't convicted in Belize. And two, if it was many years ago, should you hold it against him today? That's a very issue. Sir, let me
How
explain
do you know
to
that he has reformed, or what is what you're trying to say?
I'm a part of a movement that we have put a proposal together for the decriminalization of marijuana in Belize, and it's based on the same fundamental principle that people who make mistakes in the past ought to be given a chance to be productive citizens going forward. I believe in that fundamentally. Now, I am not saying that weighed in the capacity, because I'm not aware of Mr. Horst, whatever it is. He's a 1%, I think, shareholder in the company. But at the end of the day, Social Security Board of Directors made a decision on an issue that was based on security, that was based on the industry that it was in, was based on the productivity of the farms and the impact on the country on a whole. And I think that's fair enough.
Yeah, I'm not saying that he should be disallowed from applying or getting any contract. I'm saying that why is it that SSB did not screen these individuals back to maybe 10, 20 years?
I am not saying that I'm not saying that it wasn't done. I am just saying that I'm unaware if it has been done. At the board of directors level, there's a department, as I mentioned earlier, that actually works on these on the project proposal. If there's anything that they feel is detrimental, they will include it in the loan package. That's not my responsibility at the board level to do so. If there is subsequent discovery, it can weigh in as a factor. But I'm afraid that if you told me that the man was convicted of something 30 years ago, it probably wouldn't probably influence it much anyway.
Something is not just something.
I know that there are a lot of prominent business people in Belize who are convicted in Belize and in elsewhere also for these things, and they still continue to be prominent citizens. Would you want to deprive the country of the opportunity of people to change?